All right. Good morning and welcome to another edition of the WSJM Morning Show, the video live stream. I'm Ken Lundberg. It's Thursday, May 15th, 2025. And it's going to be a hot and humid day in Southwest Michigan. We don't usually talk about the weather too much here on the video live stream, but I tell you, it's going to be 87 degrees. You ready for that?
No.
No. You know, we have snow, and then we have one nice day and the birds come back.
Yeah.
And then we have 87 degrees. What in the world?
We jumped into August.
I tell you, I don't want hot and humid. That's why I'm in Michigan.
Right.
That's why I'm by the lake. My special guest in studio this morning is Lisa Miller. She is with Forever Clean Soapworks. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How you doing?
Well, thanks for the coffee.
I almost forgot.
It's a little early.
It's are you a morning person?
No. My store doesn't open till 10.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is a great new experience then for you.
Yes, it is.
No, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. And we're going to talk about an issue that you've been very vocal about, very passionate about.
Yeah.
And we've talked to you in the news a couple of times at least. And that issue is the paid parking situation in downtown St. Joseph.
Yes.
And that's been, so you just moved your business into St. Joseph when? How long's it been?
I moved my business to St. Joseph 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
But
and
I
you
moved
were
downtown a year ago.
Okay. And where we'll get into the whole story here, but where were you before you were in St. Joe 6 years ago? In Niles. Okay.
Yeah,
and
right downtown.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
They have paid parking down there?
No, they don't. They do not.
Have you did you pick up roots? You left the Niles store area?
Yes.
Okay. You ever think about going back?
No.
Okay. You know, they've got a great tea place down there.
They do.
The Apothecary. Yeah, Apothecary. I love that place.
Yeah. No, I was there in several different locations.
Okay.
And I was there for about 5 years.
Okay.
And then I moved to St. Joe out in Cleveland.
Okay.
And then my building went up for sale. And I thought, well, I might
Where
need
do I
to
go?
do something else.
Yeah.
So I found a spot downtown.
Yeah. And last year, we were talking off the air when you first got here. Last year was okay.
Last year was incredible.
Yeah. That's great. That's really good to hear.
Yeah. It was quite shocking.
What do you attribute that to?
Foot traffic.
Location?
Yeah.
What are the first three rules of business?
Location.
Well,
my other locations were okay.
Yeah.
This one's fantastic.
That's great. That's really good to hear. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about your business. We'll talk about your success, and then we'll also talk about parking.
Yeah. We'll get into that.
Spoiler alert, she's not happy with how things have unfolded. But, I think as we go forward, and the city council said that they have it set up so that they can tweak the rules in a fairly rapid fashion, right, for government. So we'll talk about some of the things that maybe you and others are looking for and what you'll be watching. My personal pet peeve already is the going till 9 o'clock at night.
Right.
Does that seem a little excessive?
It does. Not just that, but starting on May 15th and not Memorial Day.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point too. So we'll talk about these things and more. That's coming up right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Welcome to the video live stream. Good morning to those of you watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to keep them civil and put them in the comment box there. So we'll have that coming up in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Back with more in a moment.
5 could be a lean year for luxury. Bain & Company now forecasting worldwide sales of luxury goods to drop this year. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
7:05, it's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on one of the best days of the week, Thursdays. I love Thursdays.
Because tomorrow's Friday.
Exactly right. Tomorrow's Friday. We've got the whole, all the hard work of the week is over. And now it's like, okay, just put a ribbon on everything else. This is good. Let's go forward and let's enjoy our great weekend. And hopefully we'll have some good weather for the weekend. I was looking at the forecast, and so far it's holding out, knock on wood. But to get from here to there, we're going to go through some bumps. So partly cloudy skies today, weather-wise, a chance of showers, hot and humid today. The high is going to be around 87 degrees. We shouldn't have too much in the way of rainfall today until we get to tonight. Tonight's forecast, we have a 50% chance of showers and storms. Some storms could be strong, so keep it tuned to WSJM if you need more information. Low around 64 degrees overnight, so a high of 87 today and a low of 64. So as my guest, Lisa Miller, who we'll talk with in just a few moments, said, welcome to August. Friday's forecast, partly sunny skies, slim chance of showers tomorrow during the day, becoming a stronger chance of showers at night. Breezy conditions. The high tomorrow in the warmest spots of Southwest Michigan, it's going to be around 85 degrees. A little cooler by the lake, but 85 degrees otherwise. Southwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting to 30. As we head toward the weekend, we're going to roll in some mostly sunny skies on Saturday, the high around 68, the low around 58. And then Sunday, a little bit cooler still, high around 65 and a low around 47 degrees. We'll keep that probably same forecast for Monday as well. Okay, so some of the news that we have in the WSJM newsroom. St. Joseph City Commissioners have once again stopped short of approving a policy that would grant city employees paid parental leave when they have a baby or adopt a child. At a meeting this week, City Manager Emily Hackworth brought forward a proposal giving new parents 6 weeks of paid time off. That's after an 8-week proposal was rejected by commissioners, basically dismissed at their previous meeting. Hackworth said under federal law, all employees must be given up to 12 weeks time off when a new child is born, although their employers are not required to pay for that period of time off. However, she said a growing number of employers do offer a paid benefit, and having it in the city would help with employee retention and attraction. That's what they're saying. However, Commissioner Michael Sorolla said he was opposed to such a policy, saying that use of public funds would be inappropriate. He suggested a hybrid policy where employees could bank or sick leave or vacation time for maternity leave.
Like maybe if we did something where we said we would honor up to 6 total weeks of pay, 3 coming from the employee and 3 coming from the employer. And the employee could use a combination of sick time, PTO, or vacation time. Maybe they just want to do 4 weeks total. We would match 2 and 2.
Commissioner Michelle Binkley said the city should have some paid paternal leave, but she wanted more detail. Commissioner Michael Fernandez made a motion to approve Hackworth's recommendation as is, with Commissioner Tess Ulrey backing him up. She said such a policy is a chance for the city to show its values and support families.
I've never had paid paternal leave. I went back to work 2 weeks after a C-section. That's not an experience I want to force on somebody else, and I will use this position to move forward.
The motion to approve the 6-week paid time off recommendation was defeated. Mayor Brooke Thomas suggested city staff go back to the drawing board and provide an analysis of all employee benefits so they can review it again. Follow up to a story we told you about earlier this week. If you were in Lawrence on Tuesday and saw the wreckage of a plane on fire, it was just part of a mock disaster drill. Students at Van Buren Tech went through their annual high-pressure emergency situation training. The school holds that drill each year to help students learn how to help others in times of emergency. The twist is no one knows what the disaster is going to be until it's actually staged. Van Buren Tech's Mackenzie Chambers tells us organizers went all out this year.
This year's simulation was actually a plane crash into a crowded flea market. It was called Mayhem in the Market. So they had dozens of injuries, a bunch of injured people and cars, and our cosmetology program actually helped create the injuries with special effects makeup, which was really awesome.
Chambers says the cosmetology students outdid themselves this year, staging victims with all kinds of serious injuries, making it look like either a movie set or the real thing. Chambers says responding to a plane crash in a crowded market kept students busy.
EMT students kind of stepped out and took control, followed along by our fire science program because we did have a simulated fire from the plane crash that they had to take care of, and then giving them to our patient care team, which actually took them in ambulance to our tech center.
Culinary arts students kept everyone fed for the day. Donations from local businesses made the mock disaster possible. Chambers says they provided everything from a wrecked airplane to smashed cars. Real police and fire officials were also on hand. Chambers says in all, about 200 students took part in the exercise, while hundreds of spectators gathered around to watch. She says the day was a great experience for the first responders and the leaders of tomorrow. And one more story to tell you about. A Stevensville area bicycling club has achieved nonprofit status, 501c3 nonprofit status, enabling it to expand its activities in the community. Greg Collins is with the group Pachyderm Peddlers and tells us they go on rides all over the area while raising funds for nonprofits and advocating for cyclists.
Well, we started in 2017, just a small group of us riding out of Stevensville, and we started riding every Thursday night, and the group grew and grew and grew. And, as of 3 years ago, we had up to 200 plus people joining us and still do on Thursday nights during the summer months.
Collins says the Pachyderm Peddlers now have multiple PACE groups. With its now official status as a nonprofit, the group wants to further partner with organizations to promote health, sustainability, and equity through cycling.
We want to reach out to the youth in the community and somehow come up with programs or, a few rides at least to introduce kids to organized riding. There are some great examples of this around the nation that we're studying right now and looking at.
Collins says it's all about doing more for the community and connecting more people with the joy of cycling. The club's annual hallmark event, the Beer 30, brings riders together for a fun and festive ride to raise funds for Cycle Recycle of Benton Harbor. This year's event will be held on September 6th. That's a look at some of the news that we're following from the WSJM newsroom. There's more, and we'll talk about it. We'll give you a preview of that coming up at 7:30 this morning. We'll also have sports in just a minute. Michigan News Network is filling in while Dave Wolf is out. We expect him back soon. We have our guest in studio, Lisa Miller with Forever Clean Soap Works, and we're going to be talking to her this hour about a certain little situation in downtown St. Joseph. Some people might have heard of it.
Maybe.
You might have seen it on social media a time or two.
A couple times.
We're talking about downtown parking, and that officially kicks off today. Today is the first day, May 15th, and it'll go to September 15th, where you'll have to pay to park in downtown St. Joseph if you're parking on the west side of Main Street. Lisa Miller, good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Morning.
How are you doing?
I'm halfway through my coffee. So
We've got more. We've got more. Lisa has already disclosed. If you're missing the video live stream, you're missing a lot because Lisa has already disclosed she's not typically a morning person.
No,
that's all right. That's okay. That's okay because you're probably a night owl.
No.
Okay.
I'm old. I go to bed at 8:30. I mean,
wait a second. I go to bed before you. Poor Lisa.
Well.
You texted me last night a last minute question, and I think it was at 8:42. I didn't know that until 3:00 this morning when I get up. So sorry for the early morning texts. Hopefully your notifications were off.
yes, they were.
Okay, good.
So I got it when I got up.
Okay,
at
good.
Like 3:30.
Oh no, you woke up that
3:40.
early?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Well, let's start our conversation and just give us an overview of the paid parking situation. As when did you first get involved with it? When did you first learn that this could be an issue that you'd be concerned about?
Well, last fall, they sent out a survey.
They being the city.
I think it was the city or
Okay.
St. Joe today.
Okay.
I'm not
okay.
positive.
Either
but
the city or Downtown Development Authority. Go ahead.
I got a survey on how many employees do I have. And I thought, oh, that's awesome. Then I'll know how many passes I get.
Okay.
That was not the case.
No parking passes.
No. I assumed wrong. And as time went by and it got closer and closer, discovered that there would be no passes. And what had been put out there, even by Moody on the Market, was that if you were low income or had a disability,
Right.
you could apply for a waiver.
Yep.
Or a downtown resident.
Yep.
However, that got changed.
Okay.
And yes, as a downtown resident, you can apply, but the one about the low income or disability got changed to low income and disability.
Oh, okay.
So it's a combination.
Okay.
So that leaves out a lot of people.
That narrows it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what became a big issue with a lot of the downtown businesses is that, first of all, the free parking is across Main Street. We know, and the city knows, there's not enough for all the employees. But crossing Main Street is an issue that people are actually worried about.
Okay.
Because there have been a lot of, actually a gentleman was killed several years ago crossing Main Street. It's just a mess out there in the summer. Everybody knows that. But there's not enough free parking. And so a lot of the downtown businesses will be forced to pay for parking unless they want to walk 6 or 8 blocks. Now, if you have a teenage employee who may not get off work till later in the evening, I really didn't want my teenage 16, 17-year-old girl walking by herself all the way over to the courthouse on the weekends, or even well into the neighborhood by herself. Not that St. Joe's a bad town, but there's a lot of tourists in town, so it's totally different in the summer. But they don't even consider them to have a waiver, even though they're low income.
Yeah.
So if they have to pay to park, that's $12 a day on minimum wage.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they may only work 2 days a week.
Yeah. So we're talking with Lisa Miller. She's with Forever Clean Soap Works about the downtown parking situation in St. Joe. It's starting today, and so we're going to be looking at the process, how it came to be from a business owner's perspective. But then we'll also look at what business owners are going to be, what they're thinking about now, as you just heard, that daily fee if you have to pay for parking, and then going forward, what changes, if any, you might ask the city for. So we'll talk about those things in just a moment. We'll start that conversation on the video live stream. We're on YouTube and Facebook, so we'll continue that conversation right now, uninterrupted. We'll also have a couple of messages and sports and bring the conversation back here to the radio in a few minutes. But we've got sports right now from the Michigan News Network. This is the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning, and thanks for joining us.
While we still may have had a few schedule leaks released yesterday.
Okay, back on the video live stream. So just to reset and backtrack a couple of moments. You just started your business in downtown St. Joseph a year ago. A year ago,
April.
A year ago, April. So and you had a great year last year, and a large part of it, of what you mentioned, was because of foot traffic.
Correct.
Do you expect that to change at all?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of my local customers just won't come down. They've already been coming down and stocking up on their soap because they don't want to come down and pay for parking. The local residents feel they shouldn't have to pay at all because they pay taxes. And when I say local residents, I don't mean the ones that live right in downtown,
right?
That 4-block area. I mean, they may live a half a mile away. They still feel like they're part of that community,
sure,
and they shouldn't have to pay to support the businesses downtown.
Yeah,
I feel that too.
So do you think, I guess we'll reset. Do you really think there's a parking problem in downtown St. Joe?
Somewhat. When the beach gets filled up with the parking lots are filled, those people do come up and park in the free parking.
Yep. And
we see that, but we also see that people move. I mean, they are going and coming and going, and some of them do take up some of the free parking spaces. It's always been an issue just because it's a small town.
Yeah.
There's just not enough parking. It's a small town. And I do understand the concept that they want traffic flow. Okay, that's well and good, but you're hurting the businesses by not giving them a waiver for their employees. Or make it fair. Paid parking on the east side, free parking on the west side, split it up. So there's both.
Oh, so instead of having just the whole paid area on the west side, include paid
Correct.
And free, and then
Correct.
put paid and free on the east side as well.
It's even been suggested that there's a dedicated employee parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
That would help a lot because the employees, and there's so many restaurants that do this, they're on shifts.
Right.
So it's not constantly the same employees all the time would be in that parking lot. But that would help a lot. That would also discourage any beachgoers from parking in that parking lot if it were employees only. And the beachgoers, I mean, they come and go all day long. You know, they do. It's just a fact. I don't know if making more parking down at the beach area would be better. I don't know where, but
Yeah.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Sure.
That could possibly help or limit the time. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, but parking is an issue, but it's a real big issue now with the employees and the business owners. We felt like we were being ignored, that a lot of us didn't know what was going on. And that was very evident when all of this came to light recently.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the process that how you experienced it and what that felt like in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We'll get back on the radio and continue our video live stream as well. It's WSJM.
A few areas of fog, but otherwise partly sunny and warm today. High temperatures will be in the mid and upper 80s. Showers and thunderstorms are going to happen this evening. Severe storms are a possibility with damage across our area. We're going to see those between 7 o'clock and about midnight tonight. And then for tomorrow, partly sunny back in the mid 80s and another chance of showers and storms tomorrow night. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
7:22, it's the WSJM Morning Show. We were just talking about Carrie Peugeot, our weather partners at WSBT. She is great.
She is.
Yeah, she is good. It's she presents the weather in a very engaging way.
She does. I really like watching her.
Yeah, she's good.
She's my favorite.
That's why we have her here on WSJM.
Yes.
Yes. So we're talking. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We're talking with Lisa Miller. She's with Forever Clean Soap Works. We're talking about the downtown parking issue in St. Joseph. If you're watching on the video live stream, feel free to put a question in there if you wish, or a comment. Keep it civil, please. We appreciate that. You've seen Facebook these days. It's not civil anymore.
No.
Why do they do that?
I don't know.
Those people. Anyway, put down the beverages. Don't comment after 5 o'clock. Let's set the rules. Okay. Put down the adult beverages, I should say. We're talking about the downtown parking issue, and you've been sharing some thoughts from the perspective of a business owner. You've been in business for many years. You were down in Niles. You relocated to the St. Joseph area about 6 or 7 years ago.
6 years ago.
6 years ago. You were right on the outskirts of St. Joe, the downtown area, and then you came in. And you've had great experience there, so we love that. We love hearing that. You're now on State Street in downtown St. Joseph, and there are paid parking spots right in front of your business.
Yep.
And so today's the first day where people will have to pay for parking. Many communities have paid parking, and so what it will do with the way that it's been unleashed here. Time will tell, right? And so I think you're looking for, okay, well, the proponents are hoping that it will increase traffic flow, increase commerce to the downtown businesses, and potentially put some more revenue in the city's pocket so it can do some of the other infrastructure improvements that they want to do, including repaving the parking lots and that kind of thing. On the other side of it, fair to say you're worried about business. What are some of the concerns that you have with the way the current paid parking is being rolled out? I think you also addressed employee cost as well.
Employee cost is the big one. There are a lot of employees who won't be able to find the free parking unless they want to walk 6 or 8 blocks. Some of them are elderly, and that's been brought up at some of the meetings by other business owners. And they are being forced to pay to park, which is $12 a day.
Yeah.
And that's a cut in pay over the summer. It's a big cut in pay for a lot of people. So if, number one, they don't have a bike to ride, that they put up bike racks for people to ride their bikes to work. What do you do when it's storming?
Sure. Yeah,
you
like
know?
it is going to be tonight.
Correct.
Yeah.
As a business owner, I do park out front when I have a lot of stuff to bring in,
Right.
because I do bring in a lot of raw materials and such. So I park right out front, unload my stuff, and then go park in the parking lot that's the closest. But there's other stores that just can't do that now.
Yeah.
Um,
On that point, because I think that's one of the main points that the city voices and business voices have brought in here is, okay, your business is on Main Street. You depend a lot on that come and go traffic. If your employees are parked in front of businesses, then that eliminates the opportunity for paying customers potentially to come in and park. Is that a real issue?
no.
Tell us more.
Talk to any downtown business, their employees don't get to park out front.
Okay.
They are not allowed. That is one of the things that every business owner I've talked to has said, there's no way my employees park out front. We don't allow that. That's for customers.
Right.
I don't allow my employees to do it. My neighbors don't allow their employees to do it. When I say that I park out front, I'm out there for 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I see my neighbors do it when they have to bring in a deposit or take out a deposit or bring in change. They're parked there for 5 or 10 minutes and then they leave. We don't let our employees park out front. That's a big no-no.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, and for the logical reason of you want the paying customer to be able to have some place to
Exactly.
come in.
Exactly.
Okay.
And every business I have talked to, and I've talked to a lot of them, that's a big no-no. They don't allow it. And people keep saying that in the city. They keep saying, well, we don't want the employees to park out front anymore. They don't. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah. Who are we going after then?
As far as
I mean, if it's not the employees parking in those spots, you assume it's either customers or beachgoers, I guess.
I've never seen beachgoers park out front.
Okay.
There's a 2-hour limit.
Yeah.
Or there has been a 2-hour limit. And you see the car with all the cameras go by and those cars move quite often.
Yeah.
They're not going to stay there too long. They might get away with a little longer than 2 hours,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
not usually.
You're risking it.
So you see a big turnover. I mean, I have big windows in the front of my store. I see a big turnover all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's camping out there, but I don't think that they do it for very long because they will get a ticket.
Yeah. How we're talking with Lisa Miller, Forever Clean Soap Works, and so how has the process been working with the city through these months before, during the consideration and going into the implementation today?
Well, they keep saying that they want feedback and they keep saying that they're listening. We haven't found that. Anytime there's been feedback, it's fallen on deaf ears. I've sent a lot of emails. I've been to some of the city commission meetings, and the one a couple weeks ago was full house. It is on YouTube, and you can hear a lot of angry people, not just business owners, but residents. The one on Monday had not quite a full house, but still had a lot of people voicing their displeasure. We asked to be put on the agenda so we could get feedback from the city, and we were not put on the agenda. So there's only so much we can do. We can't really talk to them. They're not responding to anything that we're doing.
Who are you reaching out to? So when you say you send an email, who do you reach out to?
The city manager, the mayor, all the commissioners. The emails go to all of them. And there's been very little response. I did get a response from Emily when I asked a specific question. Been very little response. And it's very hard to reach them.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I found out yesterday, calling over and over and not getting through.
What were you
So
calling about yesterday?
I have been able to get one of the waivers.
Okay.
And when I took my paperwork in, I was told you'll get an email before Thursday with a code to use to sign up to get, free parking.
Mm-hmm.
I still didn't have anything on Monday. I didn't have anything by Wednesday. And so yesterday I called and nobody knew who to transfer me to. It was very frustrating. I finally got to one person, Kelly Ewalt, which I left a voicemail. Never heard back. So I called again, left another voicemail. Didn't hear back. So I emailed. Finally got an email, and I did not get a code. I was told that my license plate was registered and I don't have to worry about it. I have been talking to so many people, residents and other people who they're waiting for their email also. And here it is Thursday, and many of them have not gotten it. And they don't know, which I just put a post out yesterday, that it's based on your license plate number. So you're okay if you put in your request for your waiver, you're okay, but they don't know that and they're panicking.
Yeah.
And I had people personally email me and say, I don't know what to do. I signed up my elderly father and I don't know what to do because we haven't heard anything. So communication is zero.
So this is, yeah. And just to be clear, this is what your experience has been. We don't have the city we don't have the official city position on exactly how all that is going to work, but I think that's good insight. Hopefully, if it works that way.
Hopefully. I was told if there's a glitch, don't worry, let us know, and we'll take care of it.
Yeah, and to be fair to the city, they in their public hearings, they have said that they have made it so that they can adjust quickly. They'll need approval through the city council, but the commissioners will have to address it, but they'll be able to do it in a quicker fashion than waiting the 2 weeks and then waiting another 2 weeks and all that other stuff. So hopefully they'll be able to adjust quickly on issues like this. So we'll talk more about this in just a moment. We're talking with Lisa Miller from Forever Clean Soap Works. She has a business in downtown St. Joseph. Today is the first day of paid parking in St. Joseph, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of the things that you'll be looking for going forward that might adjust to some tweaks that they might make. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We're on the video live stream as well. So join us on YouTube and Facebook and join the conversation. We'll continue the conversation there in just a sec.
Would you call free checking?
All right. It's back on the video live stream. The so the rollout, little bumpy.
Yeah.
You're being so kind, Lisa.
It's like Michigan potholes, okay? So we all know how that goes.
But you can get an artist to come in and paint up the potholes so they look pretty. I saw that the other day. Somebody, I can't remember where I saw it. I have all kinds of weird algorithm stuff in my Instagram feed, but I looked on Instagram and somebody had done artwork in a pothole to make it look real pretty. And it's like, fix the darn pothole.
Right.
What do you let this guy, what are you doing on the street for that amount of time?
Exactly.
Anyway, so the parking issue. So what's your solution going to be? Where are you going to park?
I will be parking where I've been parking for the last year.
In the
It's
lot.
a half a block from my store in the parking lot that's south.
Okay.
I'm just a few doors down from the barber shop.
Right.
And I park right across from there.
Okay.
There's a parking
Oh,
lot
in that
there.
city lot. Okay.
Mhm.
As you go toward the library.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And so that for you is going to work out. Do you have employees? How many employees do you have that?
I will have 3 employees.
Okay. And where are they going to park?
I don't know. They're going to try to park in free parking because they don't want to pay their part-time.
Yeah.
So what hasn't been said is that down State Street, once you get past where the paid parking is, which
Yeah.
is past the apartment buildings, MGM and the other apartment building,
Yeah.
down towards the library, there will be free parking on the street there.
Yes.
And so that's maybe 3 blocks.
Yeah. I looked at it last night. I think it's 2 blocks off because you're talking about it. So it ends right where the library street is, right?
Right.
And so on the other side of that is the free parking
Yes.
area.
Yes.
Where you probably see a lot of cars stacked up from now on.
Yes. It'll look like Krasel Art Fair.
Yeah. So you're going to recommend that your employees park down there. What are some of the things that you're going to be looking at asking the city to adjust?
Well, there were suggestions that they offer a discount to the businesses like you would at the county parks, where you could get a pass for $35, $40 for the season. I don't know why that's not feasible, because many businesses said, sure, that would be better than paying $12 a day.
So let me just backing up for a second. So if the issue is you want the turnover to happen in front of the businesses, should that parking on State Street in front of the businesses be treated differently than some of the outlying areas on the side streets? So that if you have an employee and they get a discount or they get a waiver or something like that, that waiver would not apply to State Street in front of the businesses, but it could apply to the side streets. Would that be?
I wouldn't let my employees, even if they had a
But not even
waiver,
on the side streets.
on the side streets.
Where do you want them to
Probably
park?
not.
Yeah.
In the parking lot.
Just in the lots.
Yeah.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
lots are fine.
The lots should be good. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where most of the employees park before the paid parking.
Yeah.
They parked in the lots. I don't know that there were many that parked on the street.
Okay. Because the time limit is so short, right? You'd have to
Right,
keep coming out
right.
every 2 or 3 hours to move your car.
Right. And nobody has a 3-hour shift,
No, absolutely
so,
not.
yeah, I would assume that it would be parking lots.
Yeah, I remember back in, I don't even want to say the year, but in my early days in radio, we had the opportunity for on-street parking, but it was a 2-hour limit. And so
Right.
every 2 hours we were out moving our cars.
Moving the cars.
And that's very counterproductive to
It
what
is.
you're supposed it was radio, so we could put in a long commercial break,
Right.
go out and move our cars.
Move your car.
Yeah, here we have the luxury of a parking lot in front of the business, but we're not in downtown.
Right.
So
Right. Right. And that's the other thing, is that the employees on the east side get all free parking.
yeah.
That includes City Hall. All the employees there get free parking.
Did you tell them that?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay. We'll be back with more from Lisa in just a moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
Of 98 products Bloomberg tracked on the site was $5.56, down about 13% from a peak last week. Oil is falling for a second straight day after President Donald Trump said the U.S. and Iran are getting closer to a deal on the country's nuclear program. And stocks were mostly higher again yesterday. The Dow slipped, but the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq finished the day higher. And the futures are lower this morning. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:37, it's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. It's Thursday, May 15th. I'm Ken Lundberg. The temperature outside right now in Benton Harbor, we're at 64 degrees already. St. Joseph, 62. South Haven, 62 degrees. We've been checking in with our meteorologist, Carrie Peugeot. She says there are going to be storms later today. Good possibility for some storms and some showers. But between now and then, we're going to get a high today in the warmest spots of Southwest Michigan, up to 87 degrees. 87 degrees. That's 3 degrees off 90, if I do my math right. Right?
Yes. It's a little too hot.
It's a little too hot. So we're talking with Lisa Miller. She's from Forever Clean Soap Works in downtown St. Joseph. We're talking about the parking issue. We'll continue talking about that in just a couple of minutes. But first off, the forecast does call for partly cloudy skies today. It looks like some sunshine, nice strong sunshine out there, warming us up already. Hot and humid, high of around 87. Tonight's forecast, we do have a good chance of some showers and some strong storms coming through. The low overnight only getting down to 64, so it's still going to be uncomfortably warm for your sleep. Friday's forecast, at least for me it is, Friday's forecast, partly sunny, a 20% chance of showers tomorrow during the day. That will increase as we get into the night for Friday, maybe some storms as well. High tomorrow around 85 degrees, a little bit cooler by the lakeshore. The wind's going to be coming out of the southwest, 10 to 20 miles per hour tomorrow, with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. As you're looking at your weekend, it should be just sunny. Maybe a couple of clouds here and there, but Saturday is supposed to be mostly sunny, a high around 68. Sunday, partly cloudy, a high of 65. And then as we get into Monday next week, a high around 68 with mostly sunny skies. We've got more news coming up right now. We have the latest world and national news from ABC. Then we'll get our local news preview, and then the Michigan News Network, and then sports. It's all right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Walmart's first quarterly profit holding steady, in the company saying in its earnings statement this morning it cannot issue a profit outlook for the coming quarter, however, because of constantly changing tariff policies. Walmart also saying this morning it has to raise prices soon because of the tariffs. Dick's Sporting Goods buying Foot Locker for almost $2.5 billion. Both those companies also struggling, they say, with uncertainty over the tariffs policy because many of their shoes are made overseas. Before leaving Qatar for the United Arab Emirates on his Middle East trip, President Trump addressed U.S. troops. Earlier at a breakfast, he said the Emir of Qatar has been pushing for a nuclear deal with Iran.
He says, you can make a deal, you can make a deal. He's really fighting, and I really mean this. I think that Iran should say a big thank you to the Emir, because the Emir is fighting very much that we don't.
The birthright citizenship and judges' nationwide injunctions blocking President Trump's attempt at denying it before the U.S. Supreme Court today. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
It's 7:40. Some of the news that we'll have at 8 o'clock this morning. A memorial service to honor fallen police officers will be held at noon today in downtown St. Joe at the Bluff. Sheriff Berrien County Sheriff Chuck High tells us the Fraternal Order of Police Blossomland Lodge will host the annual event at the Berrien County Law Enforcement Memorial Monument along the Bluff. It'll start at noon. They'll pay tribute to the 20 police officers from the county who have died in the line of duty. That's coming up. We'll talk about that story at 8 o'clock. Also, local officials are trying to fix the ongoing flooding issue in the area of North Grand Mirror Lake. If you've ever been in that area and after a heavy rainfall and a lot of windstorm and that kind of thing, you'll notice that it's flooded. And that is not a problem just for the North Grand Mirror Lake, but for the whole stormwater runoff area. It's about 3,800 acre area. Yeah, about a 3,800 acre area that's supposed to drain into North Grand Mirror Lake, and then the water is supposed to move on to Lake Michigan. During a storm, Lake Michigan flows into North Grand Mirror Lake, and then it flows back into the drainage area. And so they think they have a solution. They think they're going to put a breakwater in there, a breakwater wall, and that will help stop the wave action from bringing it back into North Mirror. So we'll talk a little bit about that. That's coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. And then one other story, there'll be plenty of stuff happening in downtown St. Joseph next weekend. That's when the Memorial Day Parade will happen, and then also the St. Joseph Farmers Market. So everyone coming down will pay for parking there. We'll talk about those stories and more. That will come up at 8 o'clock this morning right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We're continuing our interview with Lisa Miller. She's from Forever Clean Soap Works in downtown St. Joseph. We're talking about the paid parking situation that starts today. Just want to make sure that you're aware that that will be on the west side of Main Street. You'll have to pay to park. It's 7:42. Back with more in just a moment here on the radio.
The Michigan.
Okay. I do wonder about some of those events that happen, like down at the band shell, the farmers market, Antiques on the Bluff, car shows, etc. Anything that's now happening, you're now going to have that paid parking situation. And I was thinking to myself, this might be a good thing. I mean, I think about Antiques on the Bluff. I know people have to bring in a lot of stuff for that, but many times you'll see vendors park and stay there the whole time. I don't know if that's a good thing. Have there been any discussion about that you're privy to?
No, but the farmers market, I mean, the farmers a lot of times leave
Fresh produce
stuff in their trucks. Or
and going back and forth.
Go back to get more.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I wonder how they'll work that.
I don't know.
Okay. Just have to bring everything out or it'll be a longer wait or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Don't know where you park on that. Then there'll be the art fair on the Bluff. That'll be an interesting exercise as well.
Right. But a lot of that, I don't think people really park. They might use some of the parking lots, but a lot of people are in the neighborhoods.
Okay.
That's what I've always parked
Yeah.
Frazzle, because there's really no place to park.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, do the vendors park near their?
They do. They park right by their
displays and such.
Displays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I think what we're brushing on here are potential unintended consequences, or at least some complications or considerations that will have to be looked at. And again, the city has said they'll be open to that. But your experience so far has been with the city probably not the most positive.
No.
Has there been any blowback because of how vocal you've been? No, you're good.
No, yeah, I'm good. But I try to use my Facebook page, my business page, to let people know what's going on because so many people have told me, I didn't know that. I didn't hear that. I haven't read that. So it's a lot of it's a surprise to people.
Yeah.
And even businesses, they didn't know.
What aspects were they unaware of? What were you hearing?
A lot of businesses, the city said that they contacted businesses. They did not contact businesses. I was not contacted, and so many that I've talked to, they're like, we weren't contacted either. It would have been nice to be informed ahead of time exactly what's going on. Here's what to expect. Give us your feedback. Nothing like that was done. And so it kind of already made people angry. They're feeling left out, alienated.
Yeah.
They're just like hanging out there. And we are the downtown. Without the businesses, there's no downtown.
Yeah.
In those 4 blocks, we are the businesses. We're the reasons people come to shop.
Yeah. You're a key stakeholder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we feel like we've been alienated. And not just that, but the apartment buildings, MGM and the one across the street, their residents will get waivers. But if a new resident moves in the summer, they don't get a waiver.
Oh, they're not grandfathered in.
No. And that to me is just wrong. And I've talked to both of the owners of those buildings and they're furious because that's lowering their property value right there. Same thing with the hotel, lowering those property values. That's called a taking. And it's not right. And I don't understand how the city thinks that's okay.
Yeah. We're talking with Lisa Miller, Forever Clean Soapworks, on the downtown parking issue. We'll ask next kind of what are you looking for? What are your next steps? So we'll ask about that in a couple of moments when we get back to the radio program here. Talk about your business for a moment. What is Forever Clean Soapworks for folks who don't know?
I make all natural bath and body products without detergents, phthalates, or parabens. I'm asked about that all the time. I've searched and researched for a long time to get good raw materials to make my products. And I make sure that everything that I use is safe. I also make custom orders for people who have allergies, things like that.
Okay. Oh, very nice. I'll ask you a couple more questions in just a few moments, but it's 7:47. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
A few areas of fog, but otherwise partly sunny and warm today. High temperatures will be in the mid and upper 80s. Showers and thunderstorms are going to happen this evening. Severe storms are a possibility with damage across our area. We're going to see those between 7 o'clock and about midnight tonight. And then for tomorrow, partly sunny back in the mid 80s and another chance of showers and storms tomorrow night. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
It's 7:48. I'm sure we're making a lot of friends this morning. Good morning. It's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. We've got Lisa Miller is here. She's with Forever Clean Soapworks. And we've talked to Lisa a couple of times in the past for news stories that we've done about the parking situation in downtown St. Joseph. Today is the first day of paid parking in downtown St. Joseph. And if you're unaware of the situation, on the west side of Main Street, there are time limits posted, anywhere from 15 minutes to 3 hours. But now you're going to have to pay to park. It's $2 an hour. The maximum you can park is 3 hours before moving. That's on the street. In lot parking west of Main Street, it'll be $1 an hour. The time limit is anywhere it's posted 15 minutes to all day. So the maximum parking cost there will be $12 a day. The city has said they'll be anxious to understand what suggestions, recommendations people might have as we go forward with the implementation of this. And they've set it up so that they can make tweaks through basically almost on a weekly basis. They probably won't do that, but they can do it at any of their council member meetings. So they've adjusted it so they can be quick to react to any issues that are uncovered. But Lisa, as you've been very vocal on the issue, talking about, well, maybe it should be done a little bit differently. How are you going forward on this? What is now that the paid parking is here, it's going to be implemented starting at 9 a.m. this morning. What do you do next?
Well, there's still a lot of people out there who are unsure whether or not they qualify for a waiver. And yesterday I kind of put that out there and opened a can of worms. And a lot of people were like, how do I know if I qualify? And I was sending a lot of texts and a lot of emails to people to let them know how they qualify. I didn't intend to get into it like this, but I became so angry when I wasn't informed on anything, and it's affecting me. It's affecting my business. It's affecting my livelihood and so many others downtown. I'm not the only one. So I'm trying to help people who are confused and didn't know what was going on. So I get very vocal and put it out there on my Facebook page for all to see, and try to put it in all the other Facebook groups for people to see. And I noticed over the past week or so, a lot of the things about paid parking have been deleted off Facebook. A lot of the comments have been deleted.
Where are you talking about specifically?
Some of the groups that people will post
City,
something.
non-cities, private, public?
The Facebook groups like in and around St. Joe.
Oh, okay.
By local Berrien County groups. Anytime there's anything posted about the paid parking, it gets very heated in the discussion, and things are just deleted.
Okay.
And so people are kind of out there wondering what's going on.
Yeah. And again, then that's why we ask, people who join our video live stream feed, which they do for the most part. I don't think I can't even remember the last time they were not civil. We ask people to keep it civil because there's no reason to get personal about these issues.
And people are angry.
Yeah.
And especially residents of the area who have to pay now to come to the dime store, to G&M Variety. They go in for 5 minutes to grab something, and now they have to pay to park.
Yeah. There is that equation where you think about, okay, I'm just going to go in for something that could cost under $10.
Exactly.
And then I've got to do another $2 on top of that.
Exactly.
And if they're like me, I like to shop local first. If I can't get it locally, I'll go somewhere else. That's fine.
Exactly.
But I want to default to shop local first. And usually, even if I'm paying at the same thing that I can get online, I'm going to do local because I want to support my neighborhood.
Correct.
But you're making it tough.
You're making it tough. And what about the people who want to grab an ice cream and go watch the sunset?
Yeah.
They got to pay to park now.
Yeah.
So that ice cream goes way up in price and you got to pay to watch the sunset.
This discussion is part of our Moody on the Market update. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And we're talking with Lisa Miller, the business owner of Forever Clean Soap Works. She's in downtown on State Street. And we're talking about the downtown parking implementation. It begins today. If you're going to be in downtown St. Joseph and you park on the west side of Main, you're going to have to pay to park. If you're going to park on the east side of Main Street, you may have a couple of minutes to look for another parking spot. So we're going to see how it unfolds. And we'll continue this discussion in just a moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show. It's 7:53. What are some of the key things you're going to be watching for as this is implemented?
Well, I'd like to see my business increase with more traffic.
Yeah.
That would be nice. So far, it has not done that because a lot of people heard May 1st was going to be the paid parking.
Oh, and then they moved it back.
Then they moved it. And so a lot of locals weren't coming down.
Okay.
And I have noticed that in my sales.
Okay.
My neighbors have noticed that in their sales.
People stopped because they thought May parking situation.
Right.
Okay.
And I believe that they changed that due to Blossom Time Parade.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think that was fair either.
What else will you be looking at? What about the hours?
A lot of businesses would prefer that they stop at 5 or 6 o'clock. That would be awesome for the local residents also.
Right.
Some of the businesses down there are going to start opening at 8 o'clock in order to let their local people come in and shop before paid parking.
Oh, 8 o'clock in the morning.
8 o'clock in the morning.
That's good for morning people like me. Although I'm stuck here until 9
Yeah.
o'clock.
Good for the dog walkers.
Good for
too.
the dog walkers. Absolutely. Yeah. No.
So yeah, changing the time from 9 o'clock to 6 would be great. And people can go out to dinner.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that
Or
would
the
be
ice
awesome.
cream.
Or
The ice cream in the
cream.
sunset.
Exactly.
Yeah, we do that a lot. We drive down there. We may have to walk more, but that builds a little bit more time and moves everything up, and
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Dog
And
gets a little bit anxious.
Friday night concerts.
Yeah.
Change it to 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Maybe that's their hairy arm. You ever hear of the hairy arm?
No.
In movie making,
Okay.
if you're working with particular producers, very very annoying producers, let's say, you show them the first cut of the film, but you include someone's hairy arm in one of the shots, and they go, "Oh, I think you should change that." Okay, no problem. We will change that. Great input. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week when we're done with the final cut.
There you go.
You give them a hairy arm to get rid of.
Exactly. Exactly. I'll be using that now.
That's your hairy arm.
That's
Okay.
the hairy arm.
Yeah. Anyway, we're talking with Lisa Miller of Forever Clean Soapworks in downtown St. Joseph. And we'll continue this conversation. We'll wrap it up here in just a moment. Then we'll get to ABC News at 8 o'clock. We've got our local news from the WSJM newsroom. Got a whole lot more. Stay tuned. And we're checking on the video live stream. Alex says good morning. Diane says good morning. Others are out there watching. We appreciate you. Jackie Burrell James says good morning as well. So thank you all for joining us. We appreciate it. And if you have any questions or comments, put them in there. If you've put them in there and I haven't seen them yet, I apologize. Sometimes our comment system is a little wonky, but we'll be back and conclude this conversation with Lisa in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
FM Benton Harbor St. Joseph, a product of Midwest Family Marketing and Media. Proudly serving our community. The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:56 WSJM Morning Show continues on a Thursday, best day of the week, in my humble opinion. It's May 15th, and today is the day. May 15th means that's when the paid parking goes into effect in downtown St. Joseph. If you're parking west of Main Street today, it's going to be $2 an hour on the street, $1 an hour in the lots west of Main Street. There's a lot of signage posted out there. How do you feel about the signage?
There's a lot of signs. I watched them put the signs up. There's a big truck with a lot of signs.
When did they put those signs up?
This week.
Okay, because I one day looked down there, not there.
Right.
Last night went down there just to enjoy the last night of free parking. Tons of signs everywhere, and some of them are crooked. By the way, I would like somebody to go. I would like somebody to go out with a level.
Right.
And fix that. Last things. Do you feel like you've been heard during this process? This is a softball question because I think I know the answer.
By the city?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
How will this affect your position and how you approach things on a municipal level going forward?
I have a hard time not being vocal. So I'm sure I'll still be speaking out. And I'm speaking out for everybody that's down there. The thing was, everybody kind of felt the same way, but they didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So we kind of got together and gathered a lot of the business owners. And I don't know that we're making a difference, but we're being vocal about it. And hopefully something will change.
Well, we thank you. I know it's not easy. We thank you for putting yourself out there, for being vocal. And one of the things that we did find, including in the news department, was not everyone who had an opinion about it was willing to state it publicly because they feared repercussions. And so we thank you for putting yourself out there. You were like, well, damn the torpedoes.
Exactly.
Here we go.
Exactly. Somebody's got to speak up.
All right. Well, thank you, Lisa. And please keep us up to date on what you continue to experience and what you continue to find out, and how this gets worked through, because I know the city wants to be a good partner. That's what they've told us, and we'll see how it goes forward.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coffee was
thanks.
good?
It was good.
All right. Which one did you select?
Newman's.
Was it Paul Newman? Yeah, I go for that one too.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Lisa. We appreciate it. Forever Clean Soap Works. If you want to know more about that business, just go to moodyonthemarket.com and search for Forever Clean Soap Works, because we did an article when she moved into downtown.
You did.
Yeah, we
You're the
did.
one that called me.
I did. I did. It's 7:59. We've got news in just a moment. The forecast for today: partly cloudy skies, a chance of showers, hot and humid. A high today around 87 stinking degrees. In the warmest parts of Southwest Michigan. It's going to be a little bit cooler, as we normally are by the lake. The forecast for tonight: 50% chance of showers and storms. Strong storms possible this evening, and a low around 64. Tomorrow, partly sunny and a 20% chance of showers during the day. It's 8 o'clock.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston.